This is The Brigand Children, Book 2 of the Club Lavender Duet by Lainey Delaroque. Part 1, Chapters 1 to 5. If you haven't listened or read the first book in the duet, navigate to the playlist titled The Lavender Phantom on this channel, and you will be able to listen to all the chapters. Otherwise, enjoy the continuation of Sophie and Damien's story, starting now. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel to help me produce more free audiobook stories for you. Happy listening.
Chapter 1. When the neon sign in front of the lavender entrance blinked into darkness 3 weeks ago, I went downstairs into the sub-basement. It was dark and quiet, the same as every day for the past few years. I knew there were police officers upstairs, swabbing, cordoning, photographing, doing whatever the police do. I was hidden under it all, still a prisoner in my home, still unable to see the light of day. But then it came. Imperceptible at first, then so obvious I wondered how I'd missed it. The change in my life. I started to sleep better, to breathe deeper, to savor the taste of the food I was putting in my mouth. My hacker friends Luna had urged me to use the secure access to the internet to browse online shopping sites. Lavender's new interior formed in my head like a sketch receiving its first strokes of color. I chatted to Sophie as she healed, and I made tentative attempts at video calling Thomas. But we had been apart so long it was difficult to start talking. Small steps, small hopes, small happiness. Since a very long time, everyone around me was safe. For a few weeks, there was nothing to worry about. Then the message from Tanya arrived, and reality came crashing in. Not everyone is safe, and I have a duty to protect those who rely on me. I am eager to shake off the identity of the Lavender Phantom, an entity superimposed on my being with no real merit. Now that I'm no longer a hostage, I can use my hands and my head to find myself again, and build a life that I want. The first step of that is ensuring there are no painful loose ends. I look over my shoulder as I follow the 4 boys down a dark street. A shy light flickers in the middle of it. One of them picks up his bat and smashes it, plunging their path in black. Soft neon colors reflect off the wet concrete, giving the whole scene a poetic highlight. I pull my baseball cap lower, hiding my face from security cameras and passers-by. I try not to look at the composite sketch on the small digital billboard on the wall. It depicts what is roughly my face, a line running through the middle, where there is a massive crack in the screen. Sophie told me #HotCriminal trended online when the sketch was first published. Both flattering and insulting, that artist's rendition of my features forces me to stay inside during the day and only venture at night with a cap and a hoodie on, trying to blend in with the muted haze of Chicago's dim streets. But tonight, I've left my bags at home. With my hands in my pockets, I squeeze the brass knuckles, the metal warm in my grip. Tanya told me 2 of her girls had disappeared. One day they were there with her, the other she couldn't get a hold of them. We had found their phones discarded miles away from where they were supposed to have been. The 4 boys in front of me look barely in their 20s, green and fearless. The worst combination. I click my tongue when one of them kicks a bin, and everyone laughs as it rolls sideways, spilling rubbish across the street. Penelope and her gestures are a disgrace. Years ago, she had said she liked that my father ran a tight ship with minimal violence. As she's got the power to herself, her ideology has taken a 180 turn.
Being a jester is the shit now. To hell with all those old gangs. You should come join us. There's a recruitment lineup next week.
One of the guys croaks, his voice rough from smoking.
I don't know, man.
One of the others scratches his head.
Come on, dude. It's the best. We can do whatever we want. If it turns crap, we'll just leave. But I doubt it will come to that. As long as we follow the orders of the woman on top, we're good.
To punctuate his point, the boy who says this takes out a spray paint can and starts defacing the nearest wall by creating a bright yellow line. I'm expecting him to sign off his artistry somehow, but no. He just draws a sloppy, curly line that drips down.
Police, stop,
says a stern female voice from ahead. Both I and the group of boys still in place, as they're faced with 2 police officers, a short black woman and a man thrice her age with a distinct beer belly. The female voice makes me step sideways to hide. I press my body to the damp wall and listen in.
Can I see some ID?
One of the boys laughs in her face. He is tall and thin, his spine the shape of a poorly written question mark. I creep closer. The boys are my lead for the night. I can't let them slip away.
Calm down, boy.
The other police officer says. His voice is commanding, but betrays a tiredness one can't conceal at his age. Both of them have their hands on their weapons.
It's quite late. What are you doing here?
The boy straightens, quiets, and steps toward the man.
I don't answer questions.
He emphasizes every word, his tone victorious. I shake my head. Bold, stupid boy. I move farther in. They are almost within reach now. The woman's eyes dart between the four guys and her partner. She looks uncertain. She must be new because when the boy dares to point his finger at the man, she grabs for her gun and takes a shooting stance. But it remains in its holster, the button safely holding it in place. I frown, secondhand embarrassment settling in. It's awkward to watch, but it's also getting dangerous. The boys have moved closer to their tall spokesperson, and as the gun scene unfolds, a short butch boy jumps the policeman, tackling him to the ground. The other two charge the woman. The tall boy remains standing, his hands in his pockets. Gangs within gangs. Does Penelope have all these random groups under control? Metal bats clank as they hit the ground, missing their mark. Fists connect with flesh. Grunts and whimpers harmonize with the hustle and bustle of nighttime Chicago. The policewoman has curled up in a ball, while two boys kick her. Panting with violent excitement, sadistic grins paint their sweaty faces. I crack my neck to the right, and then to the left. Only one side cracks properly, and I roll my eyes. I always pull something when I fight without warming up. The policeman manages to get to his knees and is fumbling with his gun. His holster is unbuttoned, but blood is running down his shaking arm. Someone has pulled out a knife. I squint, trying to see who it is. I must take them out first. The tall boy kicks the man's hand, forcing a grunt out of him. He looks like he has only weeks before retirement. What is he doing here, getting involved with the jesters, and with a rookie at that? A sharp flash catches my eyes. The butch boy is the one holding the knife. None of them see me coming, engrossed in their violence-induced high. I grab the tall boy by the hair and pull him down, slamming him to the ground. His breath knocks out of his lungs. He pants in shock. I kick the butch boy straight into the chest. As he loses his balance and stumbles sideways, he drops the knife. I kick it to one side. I've not drawn blood yet. My brass knuckles glint, catching a faraway nightlight. Adrenaline floods my system and I smile. I've missed this. The feeling of danger. The high of fighting for your life. For someone else's life.
Back off, dude. This isn't your fight,
says one of the boys still standing. He has stopped kicking the woman and is now trying to get her gun out. She has twisted and grabbed his wrists, her fingers bloody. A brave cop. I'm not backing off. I step over the butch boy and, reaching the one who dared to speak to me, drive my fist into the side of his face. My hit isn't strong enough to upset his stance, but his head snaps to one side, disorienting him. His friend looks me in the eye. The night air is permeated with sweat. I hold his gaze, unable to read his expression in the soft darkness. I'm warm in my hoodie. Moisture has gathered on my upper lip. Tall boy gets up behind me and moves around. He's probably scrambling for the knife. Without dropping my eyes, I clench my core, ready to hit the boy in front of me. As if reading my malicious intent, he gasps once and runs away.
What the?
I hear behind me.
Cal, you coward.
I would say he's the smartest one of you. I turn around. My voice is hoarse. How long has it been since I've spoken out loud? At least 2 days. After that, it's a free-for-all, 3 against 1. When the policeman tries to get up, butch boy kicks him in the back of the head. He crumples to the ground without a sound. I hope he's not dead. A dead cop is bad news. The woman tries to crawl away from the melee, but a badly aimed blow from me sends one of the boys tumbling over her. She whimpers in pain and curls up again. She's whispering something to herself. I can't hear her over the sounds of fighting, but I can swear she's praying. I feel bad for her, imagining it's one of her first days on the job. Maybe a new partner, a new area, new dangers, and only God to protect her. Well, I'm also here. I don't think much when I fight. It's second nature. I barely register the pain of blows to my sides and kicks to my legs. They won't topple me. I will win as long as I keep straight on my feet. And I always do. The only person to ever bring me to my knees was Penelope, and I'm still paying the price of that. Somewhere in the distance I hear shouting, then whistling, then angry stomping. That little shit hadn't run away. He'd gone to fetch friends. I've been careful not to maim the boys, hitting them as gently as I could to dissuade them, to scare them away. But they are, as I'd thought before, too fearless for their own good. They won't back down. Especially not now when they know reinforcements are on their way. Time to get serious then. 3 fast, well-aimed blows to their heads incapacitate them before the other group has even turned around the corner. My thoughts don't linger on the possible lives I've ruined. They shouldn't have followed Penelope. They shouldn't have attacked the police like idiots. I pat the policewoman. Get up, I say, trying to convey the urgency of the situation. Get up. Come on. We have to run. She looks up, a streak of black hair stuck on her sweaty forehead.
They will kill me,
she utters, abandoning her prayer. They will if you don't get up now. I grunt back as I pick up her partner and drape his arm around my shoulders, supporting his weight. He shakes his head, confused. I sigh with relief. No dead cops on my watch. Get up and help. This resolute course of action seems to bring her back to a clearer headspace. She gets up, shaky on her legs but moving with conviction, and picks up the policeman's other arm. The weight on my side eases. The man is coming to his senses too, his feet slowly finding purchase on the ground. Turn right here, I say as we wobble forward. The woman listens well and steers us right after we emerge into the slightly brighter main street. Right again. We duck into another dark alley.
I have to call for help,
she says, her trembling hand reaching for her police radio. Later, we have to lose them first. There's an abandoned shop here. I keep pulling them forward. I don't want her to call for reinforcements before I have a chance to speak to them. We pass another digital screen with my face on it. I can't be caught for trying to do the right thing. A minute later, we drag our feet into the neglected shop and hide behind the counter. I press my finger to my lips when my eyes meet hers. The shouting from before comes close, dangerously close.
Who are we even looking for?
Someone shouts, their voice full of annoyance.
If I know. A tall man.
Someone else replies. The policewoman hiccups. I glare at her as she brings her hands to her mouth. She looks like she's about to cry. The policeman is out of it again. He probably has a concussion.
Let's do a couple more loops around the block and go home,
a third voice from outside says. We have to get out of here as soon as possible. The stomping continues forward, and the shop eventually quiets. I pull out my phone, a cheap burner, my finger still in front of my lips, and dial Matthias. We need help, I whisper when he picks up.
On my way,
he replies.
I got your location.
Be fast and quiet, I say, though he already knows. This is not the first time he has had to bail me out after an emergency. My investigation is, as always, stunted by my talent to get into trouble.
Who's we?
Matthias asks. I made 2 friends. I wink at the policewoman. She hiccups again, her eyes wide, the poor rookie. Chapter 2. When the door to the shop opens, I brace myself for another fight. 2 sets of footsteps echo on the hard floor.
Damien?
I relax when I hear Matthias's voice. With more effort than I care to admit, I shift on one knee and pop my head above the counter. The world spins a little.
You don't look too good,
Matthias says when he reaches me, his tanned skin lined with sweat. His blue eyes lock with mine. The concern between his brows makes me uncomfortable. I know I won't hear the end of it, so I only nod. One can never hide an injury from a doctor.
Whoa, are those 2 even alive?
A soft, feminine voice. I look behind Matthias's tall body. Hannah is standing behind him. It's no wonder I didn't notice her. She's almost half his height. Her dark eyes share his expression. But as cute as this meeting is, I have one burning question. What is she doing here? Sophie's tiny Japanese friend has no place in the middle of a dangerous rescue mission. I peer into her face. She doesn't seem bothered by my words.
It sounded like we needed as many people as we could get.
Matthias shrugs and bends over to offer a hand to the policeman. The old man has regained his senses again. He takes the offered hand but struggles to get himself onto his feet. Matthias drops to his knees and helps him up. "And Tanya?" I whisper into his ear as his head drops close to mine. I shuffle out of Hannah's way, who has taken it upon herself to help the policewoman. She looks uncomfortable receiving help from a civilian and won't meet Hannah's gaze. It's too late for pride, isn't it?
She's in with the girls,
Matthias replies, his voice quiet. The policeman sways in his grasp, his face strained with pain.
Another one has disappeared.
Matthias continues, his breath a soft tickle on my earlobe. I say, having nothing useful to offer. Luna had set me on the lead that the 4 boys from before would take me to the Jester's hideout. I had followed them with the idea I would corner them into talking. I'm sure Lavender Girl's disappearing is not a coincidence. Penelope is not going to let what she perceived as hers go free. And those girls were working for her only a few weeks ago. The policeman grunts as he and Matthias step toward the side exit of the disused shop. Hannah and the policewoman wobble after them, leaving me alone behind the counter. I look down to my black jeans, now sporting a massive dark stain. One of the boys has nicked me with a knife. The adrenaline kept me up and running, but now I grit my teeth as I try to get up. My first attempt unsuccessful, I shift all my body weight to my other leg. Maybe he has stabbed me. I press a palm to the middle of the stain and get up, the interior of the shop swimming in front of my eyes.
Hurry up.
Hannah whispers with a frown. Go ahead. I'm coming. At 33, I feel old. I limp behind my friends and my 2 willing hostages and wonder how my retirement plan has gone so wrong. Lavender was supposed to be my swan song, the place that would be the end of my gang career. I hadn't accounted for Penelope not sharing my vision. When I'm outside, I step into a puddle and curse. Now my leg is not only bleeding, it's covered in sewer water.
We're almost there,
Matthias says, his voice drowning in grunts and heavy breathing. The streets are quiet. We have timed our escape well. The jesters don't seem to be meticulous pursuers, or maybe they didn't know how juicy their prey was. The darkness inside Lavender is welcoming in its anonymity. It covers our faces, shielding us from the world outside. Matthias leads us all into the lounge and turns on the lights.
This is a crime scene.
The policewoman utters, her voice strained. Beads of sweat glisten on her dark skin. She is clutching Hannah's shoulder like her life depends on it. Maybe it does. I hobble after the group into the bar. No one says anything in response to the woman's observation.
What happened to your leg?
Matthias's doctor voice comes out. Nothing too bad. I shake my head. Check the police officers first. It's not true. I can barely feel my leg below the wound. The middle of the bloody stain both itches and stings, like someone is continuously rubbing alcohol on it. I pour myself a whiskey and sit down on one of the lounge chairs, the motion taking more effort than expected. Matthias's mouth is a straight line, but he follows my instruction without protest. He helps the old policeman sit down, who instantly cradles his head in his hands.
You're that fugitive, aren't you? Damien Grey.
The policewoman sits near her partner. It's brave of her to ask the question. She's shaking while Hannah rubs her back. That sketch doesn't do me justice, right? I crack a smile. I'm sure I look like shit at the moment.
Why are you taking police officers as hostages, boy?
The old man speaks, his voice hoarse like he smokes often and a lot.
Buzz for reinforcements, Aisha.
Wait.
Matthias says, linking eyes with Hannah. She puts a hand on the policewoman's arm.
Please let me patch you both up while you listen to what Damien has to say.
Are we supposed to trust the words of a criminal?
The woman shoots me a piercing gaze. I welcome it, her black eyes reflecting the consequences of my life. She hates me.
Alleged criminal. He's innocent until proved guilty.
Hannah murmurs. I cock my head to one side, surprised she's speaking on my behalf. She and I haven't had any time to get to know each other, so her opinion of me is a mystery.
He should let himself be tried then.
Aisha, the policewoman, says. I will when the time is right, but I don't want to go to jail for someone else's crimes. My voice is even. This negotiation must succeed.
We'll listen,
The policeman says.
but after we have, you'll let us go.
I nod. I don't plan on keeping them. You aren't restrained. I've not hurt you. My friend will look over your injuries. My other friend will make you a warm drink. This line earns me a scowl from Hannah. Maybe she is tentatively on my side. Most probably she is on Sophie's side and on mine by proxy. She clearly doesn't like to be ordered around. I continue speaking. After I've told you my story, we'll call you an ambulance, and you can call for reinforcements. We won't be here to be captured, though. Saving you both from being beaten to death has exhausted my good deeds for the night.
Speak then.
The old man leans back with a wince. Aisha looks away, her face contorting in obvious disagreement. Matthias opens his doctor's bag and starts examining the policeman. I built Lavender as a haven for people, a reprieve from the real world, whatever that meant for them. I never forced anyone, be it staff or client, to do anything inappropriate here. But it was taken away from me. Using something I hold dear, they blackmailed me into taking control of the whole place. Then the crimes started, all in my name, of course.
The jesters.
The policeman says through gritted teeth. Matthias is cleaning a giant scrape on his forearm. My own wound reminds me of itself, and I shift my weight to sit more on my uninjured side. The jesters. Yes, an interesting comment. What do you know about them? Or actually, was it a coincidence you ran into them tonight?
We're working a case.
The woman says.
Is it about missing girls?
Hannah blurts out, and I roll my eyes. Can you make us some warm drinks, please? I try to sound polite. She stands up, her face angry, and walks up to me.
I'm not one of your minions.
She growls.
You don't get to tell me what to do.
I only asked you,
You don't have to do anything. You can go home.
Matthias says, not looking up. He's writing something on a piece of paper, probably for the ambulance when it arrives.
Thanks for your help.
This seems to calm her. She snorts and disappears behind the counter. Porcelain cups clink as she starts making something. Matthias and Hannah. An unlikely friendship. I narrow my eyes, but their faces betray nothing.
Trouble keeping everyone in check?
The policeman chuckles, bringing me back. He looks like nothing can surprise him.
We are looking into the disappearance of 2 girls. We received anonymous tips, so we were following a lead.
So Tanya has involved everyone within her power. Fair enough. It stings a bit, but it is true that I don't stand the best chance of finding them. I lack many key resources. With the police, the girls have a bigger chance of being found. I'm looking for them too. They used to be regulars here, I say. Half-truths are still truths, as Sophie loves to say.
What do you want from us? We listened.
Aisha says, impatient. Matthias hands the piece of paper to the policeman, then strides toward her, offering her to put her palm in his. She does it with less reluctance than I would have anticipated. Sometimes I forget what effect Matthias has on women. Let's work together. Let me prove that the jesters are behind the disappearances, that I was set up. Let me clear my name. I hope my sincerity will reach them. Aisha shakes her head.
Come with us then.
I can't prove my innocence from the inside of a cell.
You sound guilty.
You sound biased. The policeman breaks into a laugh.
Aisha, enough. No need to fight with the suspect. Let me remind you of something, Mr. Grey. You are used to Chicago being run one way. We are used to running it another. The law is what we go by. What about you?
I narrow my eyes. As I stare into his face, his features remind me of someone I can't place. There is familiarity in his tone. Before Lavender fell, I had run the deck cleanly, evading the police, making sure I was never on their radar. I was cautious with my father's legacy while waiting to have enough resources to abandon the criminal life and live in the light. This person seems to know me. Hannah brings out a large pot of tea in cups.
Mint tea.
She announces and plops herself on a chair. She pours it slowly as I rack my brain. Are his features too common, or... I try to do the right thing, I say finally. What a cliché. His question took me by surprise. I'd been ruthless before, living by the code I'd inherited from my father. That had all shifted the day I had seen Thomas's little pink face. I had vowed to change myself in the gang. I had held him that night, and when he'd cried, I had passed him to Penelope. She had looked so tired, her hair sticking to the pillow, her arms slender but weak, connected to monitors, pinning her to the bed. When she had cooed over his tiny body, his mouth latched on her breast, I couldn't have imagined life would be anything but good. Not even in my wildest dreams would I have thought the mother of my child would ruin everything I had built and use our baby as collateral.
So you're just going to let us go?
The policeman's voice pulls me back to the present. Aisha hisses, then chuckles. Matthias is patting a cotton pad onto her face, flashing her a warm smile. I wish I could be as personable as him. I will. I hope you will take up my offer, I say, because it's the right thing to do. We all want the girls found.
You're putting a lot of trust in us. We know where you're hiding. We know the faces of your associates. We can bring you down in the blink of an eye.
The old man takes a cup of tea from Hannah. He sips it slowly. At least he trusts us enough not to poison him. His words are true. But I chose to save lives, letting the boys I was chasing get away. I made my choice to trust them a while ago. You're the good guys, right? I huff a little laugh.
So you say you're a witness, not a perpetrator?
Aisha shakes her head.
I find it hard to believe you couldn't get your club back. I saw you fight there. You could have killed those gangbangers in a heartbeat.
Her gaze holds fiery anger. She can't be older than her mid-20s, but she holds such fury. What made her like that? How did she end up with the police and not with the likes of Penelope and me? Chicago gangs are the prime place for angry young people. I can't prove anything tonight. If you give me the benefit of the doubt and a bit of time, I will give you the case of a lifetime.
We'll think about it.
The policeman interjects.
If your doctor friend is done with my partner, I would like to call an ambulance. He has written here I have a suspected concussion. Not ideal before retirement, you see.
Go ahead. This is our cue to leave. I get up. The lounge blurs in front of my eyes, and it takes all my mental strength not to yelp at the pain in my leg.
What's your name?
Aisha asks with a small smile, her hand lingering on Matthias's as he starts to put his first aid kit back into his bag.
It's a secret.
He winks.
I'll tell you if you agree to help us.
She chuckles. He moves her hand away gently and gets up. I see his face drop the smile and wish he would find someone to love soon. Anyone but me. Chapter 3. Matthias and Hannah leave through the front door before the police officers. I know they're going to pivot and come back through the back door, so I don't stop them. Matthias would have never left me in the state I'm in anyway.
Here.
The policeman hands me a business card, which says, Carl Mickelson, Detective, Chicago Police Department. Detective? I look him up and down, all beaten up and in a uniform that barely fits over his round belly.
Yeah, detectives.
Aisha says, emphasizing the S. She hands me her card too. Aisha Montgomery. They don't allow you to walk around in normal clothes anymore? Carl shakes his head.
Listen, boy, the jesters can't know we're onto them. They'll hurt those girls. This is why we pretend to be uniformed officers and why we listen to your life story. At the end of the day, we're only doing our jobs. Sit still and we'll be in touch if we need your help. Don't cause trouble.
I narrow my eyes. He sounds like a parent. I don't like it.
You should be thankful we're from missing persons and not violent crimes.
Aisha hisses on her way out, a bandaged finger pressing to my chest. I shouldn't care, but her emotional outbursts, her youthful loyalty, makes me want to bring her to my side. People like her are never good at being corrupt cops, however. If I'm to win her over, I have to keep firmly on the right side of the law. When Carl reaches the door, he lingers, something like sadness on his face. He waits for Aisha to be away from earshot, then whispers,
Go visit your old man, boy. You can learn a lot from him.
My eyes narrow. He knows my father? Now it all falls into place. The same way I want Aisha, my father had wanted Carl. And he had gotten him. You still work for him? I ask, because being in prison doesn't always stop someone from playing the game. A thin needle of agitation pierces my belly. I thought my father's strings had been cut. I had made sure to cut them all. The deck is no more.
I have never worked for him.
Carl shakes his head.
We had a simple agreement. He stayed out of my way and I stayed out of his. Back then, I used to work in narcotics.
I don't think he'll want to see me.
You should try anyway,
He whispers. I can hear Aisha calling for reinforcements.
You're still wet behind the ears, son. I believe you because I knew your dad, and I've heard about your wife and the jesters. She's a nasty piece of work, that woman. Managed to fool both you and your old man. But we've all been there. I'm not judging you. If you want to clear your name, you'll need your dad's help. Without him, you are nothing.
I grit my teeth but only nod. There's a police siren in the distance, so I'm not going to get into an argument. I gesture for Carl to leave, then lock the door behind him. Matthias is back in the lounge, alone and sad. Did you lose Hannah? I limp toward him.
She has work early tomorrow, so she left to get some sleep.
I crack a smile, but he doesn't return it. He seems tired as well. You should sleep too, I say.
And I will after I take a look at that leg.
Yes, I mutter as I let him support me with his body on the way to the secret sub-basement level. You like Hannah? I ask between huffs and grunts while we descend the spiral staircase with the speed of an injured turtle.
You know who I like,
He says simply, averting his eyes. I press my lips in a thin line and let the silence linger. There is no point in rejecting him every time he speaks about this. After my thigh is stitched up and bandaged, and I'm in a pain-free world courtesy of Matthias's hospital-grade painkillers, I go back to Lavender's ground floor. I slide into the tropical room, the palm trees drooping in the chilly air. The heating is off, and the whole room has the eerie feeling of abandonment. What used to be a smell of warmth and natural trees now carries the faint stench of mold. It is probably growing in the dark, damp corners, ruining my intended aesthetic. I take out my phone and message Sophie, telling her to be cautious of jesters walking around. She's coming tonight, and while I thought of canceling, I haven't seen her recently, and I know she's more than capable of sneaking in undetected. Sophie, I say, the name sitting on my tongue like a foreign word. I had known her as the Brigand Wraith first, a legendary entity, an elusive thief from the unscrupulous LA Brigands. Then she had called herself Adrian, shattering the image of a ruthless gangbanger I had in my mind for her. It was so easy to talk to her, to joke when all I could think about was Thomas in the clutches of his unloving mother. Her presence had been a reprieve, and before I knew it, I was craving it. Craving her being next to me, helping me solve my issues with the ease she made quick, kind decisions, like fixing my ropes. I look around. My chest tightens. The brown palm leaves are still, reminding me of decay and betrayal. I dedicated this room to Penelope. Back in England, she hated the damp gray weather. She craved warmth, and I gave it to her upon our return to Chicago. Her gratitude was short-lived. I get up, my wound itching slightly. It's not as bad as I thought. It's only a scrape after all, but it's deep and long, and every time I move, I pull on it, making the skin taut against the stitches.
Hello, stranger.
Black boots, black jeans, black hoodie, long strawberry blonde hair and a messy bun, mischievous eyes. I smile despite myself. No matter how much I sulk these days, it takes Sophie a second to jumpstart my endorphin production. I thought I locked all the doors, I wink.
When has that ever stopped me?
She chuckles.
You know you can give me a key, right?
I walk toward her, trying not to limp. You can lockpick in less time than it takes to turn the key.
True. But you don't have to test my skills every single time.
I stop a breath away from her, unsure whether to embrace her or kiss her or do nothing at all. We had shared that one amazing night together a few weeks ago, but life had come in full swing since, preventing us from being physically intimate. But calls and short conversations can only get me so far. I can't deny I want her, despite my insecurities trying to override my brain. Sophie opens her arms, and I follow her lead, giving her a tight hug. She nuzzles her head in my chest, and my hands linger on her back, feeling the warmth. If she's not in a hurry to break contact, I'm not either. Her hair smells of orange and cocoa butter, and in spite of the coldness in the air, I close my eyes and imagine I'm in a tropical paradise. The palm leaves turn green behind my closed eyelids. The speakers in the ceiling are silent, but I can hear the parrots and the flutter of warm wind.
This is the first private room I saw,
She says, her breath forming a warm patch on my shirt. It's the first room I designed, I reply. Do you like it?
I liked it when it was warm.
She lifts her head, a smile on her face. All her bruises are healed. The only memory of her pristine skin even being broken is in my head. Her warm brown eyes look like ambers in the dark, glinting with amusement. She is calm, I realize, contented. I want to ask her something, but the words get stuck in my throat. As the brigand wraith, stay by my side. Let's defeat the jesters together. She looks so normal, so detached from this life that I wish I can erase her memories of pain. She was the brigand wraith, I remind myself. She had put that behind her to care for her sister, to pursue rope and kink. I want to do that. I want to be able to pick up Thomas from school and take him to the cinema and then leave him with his friend's parents so I can go for a fetish night out. I can put the heating on, I say instead, without letting her go. I tangle my fingers in her locks and pull on the elastic. Her hair comes free in a waterfall of glittering copper and citrus. She squeezes me tighter.
In a bit. Hanako told me you got a lead today. Did you find anything?
Nothing. I shake my head. But I saved 2 detectives. She looks at me with a puzzled expression.
And they let you go?
They weren't looking for me.
Isn't everyone looking for you?
Huh. I breathe. Maybe she is right. We stand quiet for a few breaths, then I tell her about tonight. She listens without interrupting. When I finish, she lifts herself on her toes and presses her lips to mine. Soft and warm, inviting, shutting me up. I move my arm up her back and to the nape of her neck, pressing her closer to me. The chill of the room leaves the second her pointed tongue tangles with mine. The taste of berries lingers on her mouth. I slip her leather jacket down.
Since it's so cold,
Sophie whispers between my lips.
you'll need to hold me extra tight.
I press my palms to the sides of her thighs, drawing her closer to me. Her hands travel under my shirt. With cold fingers, she trails my spine, her feathery touch leaving an icy memory in its wake. I shiver, earning a sly smile from her. She pushes me back, barring my escape from the tropical room, navigating gently to the wooden swing toward the back. I fight the memories of Penelope in it, Thomas giggling next to her, toys cluttering the floor. Sophie's tongue in my mouth does a good job of scrambling my thoughts into oblivion. Maybe she's to be my salvation. Or maybe we both need a distraction. The swing creaks once when I land on it, then again when Sophie spreads her legs and sits on my lap. A small ache starts in my thigh, reminding me of my wound, but the painkillers keep it at bay. I forget about it as soon as it crosses my mind. Sophie grinds on me, her warmth and scent making me lose the grasp on all things logical and ordered. I am forced to embrace the present. She lets go of me only to roll her t-shirt over her head and throw it on the floor. Remembering her submissive, melted self, I wonder where this dominance is coming from. I don't mind it. Her confidence is contagious. I push her into me, my hard against her jeans. I want her to know how she affects me, how hard I am for her. She moans before kissing me again, her straight hair draping on her shoulders like silk. I move my hands up, my eyes stopping briefly on every inch of her supple skin to admire her. In the muted light, I see fresh lines of burgundy on her shoulders and across her chest. A new bruise mars her side, still red and angry. You've been out playing? I ask, already aware of the answer. She is on the kink scene. I'm hiding in a basement. She looks down, briefly confused, then nods.
It was rope night at the Moon Garden yesterday.
Looks like you had fun. I hope I sound positive and accepting. I'm not quite sure I pull it off.
It was good. I did a self-suspension. Hanako spotted for me. I was rusty, but I remembered all the basics.
She slides sideways, sitting next to me. The swing rocks gently.
It was nice to be in a headspace to do that after everything.
I squeeze her shoulders and plant a little kiss on her forehead. What do you want to do now?
Now? I was hoping we would continue kissing.
She winks and puts her hand on my crotch. I shake my head and take her tiny hand in both of mine. You know what I mean? Are you still planning to leave with Melanie? I hold my breath, my heartbeat picking up pace. I need to know, but I don't want to know. She is silent for a few frightening seconds.
I don't know. I'm trying to see if a hobby can lead to some extra income. I want to see if my rope skills can be monetized.
Like opening a club? My mind does a jump forward in time, imagining her tying in lavender, leading a workshop maybe, teaching other people what she does best.
That's a bit out of my price range. I'm recording some online video tutorials. If they fail as a business, at least I would have taught some random people how to handle rope safely.
Sophie gives me a weak smile.
I don't have a proper job, so I've been burning our savings. Melanie doesn't want to leave.
She's getting along with Thomas, isn't she? Matthias told me.
They're cute together. All mobile games and memes. But I have no real plan for the future. My best friend is here, and I don't want to leave her. But I don't want to endanger her either. Penelope is still out there, snatching girls. You can't show your face outside in the daylight.
Grim, I say with a tiny smile, trying to ease the descending gloom.
Well, yes, but that's not why I'm saying it.
She replies, snuggling into my chest.
It feels like my work isn't done here, you know. Like I can still help.
When those words tumble out of her mouth, relief washes over me like scotch on a cold night. Do you want to help? My voice is small, hoarse. I want you to help us, I say in my head, but the words don't reach my lips. She is silent for a moment. When she looks up, her eyes are sparkling, and her brows have the crease of determination.
I do want to help. I know even Hana has gotten entangled in your business, so why not me? I can help if you let me.
I put my palm on Sophie's cheek and caress it with my thumb. I have craved those words from her. My mind has been torn in two ever since the Jester's party. She had taken the humiliation of it, and instead of running away, she had put her head down and concocted a plan to save Thomas. To save me and cut off one of Penelope's tails. She is resourceful. She is compassionate, her moral compass pointing the right way. She is so different from Penelope. I'm attracted to all of that, together with her bright smile and her unapologetic love of rope bondage. I want to protect her from my world, push her away to keep her safe from Penelope's dangerous gang. I also want her to be by my side because I'm a selfish bastard, and I'm so tired of fighting alone. Join me, I whisper, echoing my words from when I had held her first. Let's join hands and bring Lavender to its former glory.
I haven't seen it before,
she murmurs. Let's make it better than before. I squeeze her body to mine. You like tea, right?
I love tea,
she says, a wide smile on her pretty face. Then you will love making this place great. Your heart is at the right place. I chuckle and lean in to kiss her. She pulls away a little.
Lavender is your dream. It will take me some time to figure out what I want. But I'm sure of one thing,
she whispers.
That I want you near me.
I keep stroking her cheek. She's so warm. I was getting ahead of myself.
It's not a no, but a we'll see. I have a complicated relationship with Lavender. Meeting you, Tanya, and Matthias is the best thing that happened to me here. Everything else, well, not pleasant memories.
I'm so stupid. So wrapped up in my dream of my Lavender. I forgot that for her, this was the place where she and her sister were assaulted. The place where Brad harassed her. She went through all that as Luna's hired help, but also as a person who had a moral obligation to destroy the evil within these walls. Where I see interior improvements, she sees shadows of the past. I'll be with you as you figure it out. I've been staring in her walnut-colored eyes, seeing her soul for the first time. and I know I can't push Lavender on her. I can only hope in time she will come here and choose to make it a part of her future.
Let's make it an adventure,
She says. Her chest rises and a sigh slides out of her. I can no longer bear the smell of mold and the damp darkness of the tropical room. I want to bury myself in her neck and pull her tight until there's no space between our hearts. I take her hand and lead her to the only place I'm sure she doesn't have painful memories of, the hidden sub-basement. When we get there and the heavy door closes behind us, cutting us off from the world above, I slide my fingers up her neck and into her soft hair. She moans softly, a smile lingering on her face. I kiss her deeper, my tongue parting her lips to explore her mouth. She welcomes it, and when her hand finds its way on my crotch again, I don't move it away. Chapter 4. When I wake the next day, Sophie is gone. She's left me a small purple note, which says she's going to run some errands, and then meet Melanie and Thomas after they finish school. Uneasiness pinches my diaphragm. If she gets followed, if Thomas's location gets found out, if they steal him away again, what will I do? My lack of control is excruciating. I trust Sophie, and I trust Matthias, who's around Thomas as well. But doubt rears its head at every opportunity. I have not forgotten what it was like to be afraid. Maybe it's a parent's curse, never to stop being afraid for their child. Or maybe fear has replaced something within me. What feeling led me before to save Luna from their abusive family? To wrangle Tanya free from the grasp of a sick cult? To pick Matthias up and give him a job after he was suspended from practicing medicine? It wasn't fear. I didn't know fear before Penelope's betrayal. I spend the day working out, fighting my dark thoughts. An answer doesn't come, so I go around in circles, knowing that there are expectations placed upon me. Expectations I'm unsure how to meet. By the end of it, I can't take it anymore. I need to see Tanya. On the surface, all is simple. I want to save the girls, clear my name, bring Penelope and her gang down. But how? I don't want to get in touch with my father. There's bad blood there, and I have enough problems as it is. The night creeps in like a welcome guest in a quiet house. It descends upon Chicago in a purpling sunset and settles in with the night sky above the buildings, light pollution hiding the stars from view. I readjust my black baseball cap as I sneak through a well-lit street. My shadow crawls behind me like the long list of my crimes. The air smells faintly of spring, but the night chill is there. It gives me a good opportunity to hide within my clothes, and I dip my face into my black scarf, concealing most of my recognizable features. I glance at another digital display with my face on it as I descend into the Jackson subway station. My facial composite looks grumpy next to two massive gig posters. The station is empty, but I know the cameras are rolling. I snuggle into my black jacket and pretend to be a traveler hiding from the cold. As the train pulls up, I wonder if I should have taken a taxi. When I enter the empty carriage, I decide I've done the right thing. Interacting with another human is too dangerous. The train whizzes away from the platform into a dark tunnel. I plop myself on a seat and wince at the sudden pain in my leg. I press on my wound through my jeans, trying to figure out if I have pulled my stitches open. It hurts like a new bruise, and I can feel it pulsating, making my leg hot. When I take my finger away, it's as if I've stamped a dark red wax seal on my pants. Why can't I just be careful, look after myself properly? As I bobble in my seat in the deafening roar of the carriage, I think about all the pain I have already withstood. There was plenty, physical and emotional, but I realize I have always dealt with it one way only, my father's way. Pain is something you ignore as you push ahead in life. Pain is merely a common side effect of living. No one warned me that mixing it with fear would f up my head. The announcer's voice booms in the carriage, for my benefit only, every time we near a stop. On his eighth try to shun me away, I finally stand up. The doors open into a new world. The platform is quiet. No lights are flickering. There's nothing creepy about the stale air in the space. But I know as soon as I climb the stairs, I will have to watch out. This side of Chicago was never mine. It was never my father's. It is Arcana territory, and while I have an inkling about why Tanya's here, I can't be sure. I look up the location on my phone, saved in the offline Google Maps in case I lose reception. When I emerge, I find the only street lamp illuminating the exit of the subway station busted. It's not a surprise. I pull my scarf down, letting the midnight air enter my lungs as my eyes adjust. I can hear faint voices from one side. As I slip my hands in my pockets and my fingers into the brass knuckles inside, I walk toward my destination with the confident stride of a local. The route wasn't difficult to memorize, so as I push forward, I keep my eyes and ears open for any signs of danger. When I see the familiar outlines of the motel from the pictures on the internet, I pick up my pace, unwilling to dally any longer and risk attracting attention to myself. The motel description on Google said, unassuming rooms in a humble motel and free continental breakfast. When I lift my head and take in its splendor, I realize whoever had written the marketing copy had been spot on but very polite about it. It is a drab building, long with dirty walls that might have once been white, and a flickering sign which says MEL, occasionally lighting up the middle letters and screaming OT at the passing cars instead. I'm sure the rooms would reek of mold and stale cum before I've even crossed its threshold. I make an instant decision to try to take Tanya back with me tonight, then dismiss it. All the women she's protecting won't be safe in Lavender. No one is really safe in Lavender at the moment, me included. That's why its hallways are empty and the air in the many rooms still. I knock softly on the door to room number 2. I don't want to alert the other residents that Tanya has a visitor. Who knows who the people around us are loyal to? Whoever it isn't me. I hear shuffling from inside, but no one comes to the door. I knock again when everything quiets and look around. There are no digital billboards with my face on them. Maybe whoever was putting them up didn't think I would breach the territory of another gang. Tanya cracks the door open. When she sees me, she lets out an audible sigh and gestures me in. She locks the door behind me swiftly. There's a metal bat next to it. I needed to talk to you, I whisper. Luna, with their hacking ways and computer knowledge, asked me to refrain from using technology with Tanya. The Arcana hacker was an unknown, so we had to be careful.
Good. I want to clear some things, too,
she says.
What happened to your leg?
I dismiss her concern with a wave of my hand. Who do you have left here with you? Have you seen Ben? Tanya's face sours at the mention.
A few girls. One of the guys went to live with his sugar mommy, another up and left, saying he had better things to do than hide in a motel. The third one jumped ship. He's with the Jesters now.
And Ben? She doesn't want to speak about him, but I need to know.
Ben f***ed off that night we lost Lavender. Haven't seen him since. His phone is off, too.
Then why are you here, in this motel, I mean? Did he say anything to you that night? She shakes her head but hands me a note.
He left me this. I thought he would join us, but he never showed.
I look at the neat handwriting in which the motel's name and address is written. At the back, where I expect a sentiment of sorts, there is more business talk. You will all be safe here if you find honest work. Show this note and they'll sort you out. Honest work? I ask. Ben is not one to put conditions on my people, but maybe the condition didn't come from him. Another pang of disapproval at myself twists my guts. My rusty leadership skills need to be polished back into shape.
No more selling ourselves, I assumed. Probably because this is not our turf. But it's just as well for me. The women who still have children to feed and parents to support were dubious at first, thinking they won't find work. I was worried too. But there were openings in diners and cafes, in gas stations. Morale was good until Kiara and Yera disappeared.
Okay. I sit down on one of the twin beds in the room. Everything around me is beige. When my leg folds, the beige blurs into dark brown as a shadow passes in front of my eyes.
You're bleeding,
Tanya whispers, more to herself than to me.
Did you get intercepted on the way here?
I shake my head. I got into a fight yesterday.
Take off your pants,
She commands and disappears into the bathroom. Do I have to? I ask. I'm okay, just a bit tired. Sophie came last night. She comes out with a first aid kit in her hands.
I don't want to know. Pants down or I'll cut them.
I roll my eyes, but a small smile is playing on my lips. If she can be cranky as usual, she's still okay. She's coping. I just have to be fast and find the girls before something happens and she starts blaming herself for their misfortune.
Tell me about the fight.
She says as I shuffle out of my jeans and present her my bandaged thigh, red seeping over the white gauze.
Jesus. Has Matthias seen this?
He stitched me up. She unravels the bandage, and I try not to wince as I start my story about last night. She cleans my wound and bandages it again. I haven't torn any stitches. She listens without interrupting.
So the police also think the jesters are behind this. We don't really need a lot of confirmation. We only need to find their hiding place. You can destroy them all. Tell me when we're going. And I'm going to get Matthias and Luna.
Her eyes are intense as she says this. She's angry, itching to take action. Sophie awakened something in her, something that lay dormant for years. It's not that easy. I sigh and her face drops. You involved the police. I don't blame you, but now they know who I am. I can't go on a rampage. I will end up in the same place as my father, and that's the last thing I want. Thomas will be left with no parents.
Matthias and I can look after him.
You want me to go to jail?
No,
She trails off, breaking eye contact.
I don't know why I involved the police. I guess I felt we were weak. I felt like I had to do something more. Not that I don't think you can sort it out, just...
I get it. I'm a wanted man. I'm not the most reliable person at the moment. I sure as hell don't have the resources that missing persons have. Yet her words still sting. Don't do anything yet, please, I say, sparing her the need to continue. Don't concern the others. I know I'm not at my best right now, but an inside revolt is the last thing that I want. Just give me a few seconds to figure out a plan. She lets out a massive sigh and cradles her head in her hands. A stray lock of dark blonde hair escapes from behind her ear and slides down her jawline. It reminds me of the time we sat like this, next to a burning building, thinking that we would die before we could be free.
Do you not care about them?
She says in a small voice.
I know you don't know them all, but they're all good people. They deserve to be saved. I swear it.
My eyes widen. Does she really think I need convincing? She starts telling me about Kiara and her family of 5, about her grandmother's famous sweet potato pie. I raise my hands to stop her, but she pushes them down and I keep listening. About Yera and her twin sister Layla, about how they tackle each stage of life together, about their interest in sailing, of all things, how they never got to even board a boat. She keeps humanizing them, but I don't need that. They've never been unimportant in my eyes. I've just been unable to look past my own weaknesses. Of course I want to find the girls. I want to clear my name, and I want to get my Lavender back, but I don't want to become my father in the process. I don't want to be cruel like before. My voice doesn't have the conviction I hope to muster, and Tanya looks unimpressed. You know my father, I say as a last attempt to sway her opinion to consider giving me more time to think. But as I see her set expression, I start doubting that time alone will solve my internal woes.
You want me to tell you to be gentle, to take it easy because Adrian, Sophie, might misunderstand. But that, Damien. It was you who pulled me out of that wretched cult. It was you who saved Matthias when he had nowhere to go after your father crushed his life. You gave Luna a reason to exist. You want to be told to be good?
She is whispering, but her voice is fervent. Tears are welling in her eyes.
You were good. You are good. But for sake, grow a backbone. Thomas is safe, and we are all safe. I don't know much about Sophie, but she's not as innocent as she appears. She's tough. She will love you anyway. But Kiara and Yera have no one else to help them. I've lost sight of Layla too. Getting them back means we are fighting actively against Penelope.
I don't know if that Damien from before is still here. My own whisper isn't passionate. It's quiet and defeated. I don't know what I came for tonight. Permission to wallow in the pain of my past mistakes? Absolution from the need to be a leader? Whatever it was, I'm not getting it. The dissonance between my feelings and Tanya's demeanor is like a kick in the teeth.
You're good at saving people,
She continues.
Just be yourself. You know we will follow you.
Tanya's tone has turned soft, but carries the edge of determination. I know she, Matthias, and Luna are going to support me whatever decision I make. But while having people's trust is reassuring, it's also a burden. I can't just throw myself into the fire and take them with me. Every step has to be calculated. If I fall, they all fall. I wish I saw myself the way you see me. I pat her knee and stand up. She catches my hand on the way and squeezes it. We are silent for a moment. I will be quick in my thinking. I will figure out how to get under Penelope's skin, and I will get everyone back to safety.
We will get them back. I know we will.
Tanya's eyes are sparkling. They're not the eyes of a victim. She's containing a silent, deadly rage, like a lioness protecting her cubs, hurt, but full of resolve.
Please make the tough decision when the time comes.
I nod, but my insides are a dull knot of worry. The tough decision. Can I find the women by myself, protecting everyone, hurting no one? Or will I be able to ask for help, putting my fears aside? Can I join hands with my father, a person I betrayed when I made my last tough decision? Can I grit my teeth and hurt the mother of my child? Can I kill her? Only time will tell. Chapter 5. The next morning carries brightness despite my sleeping in a basement with no windows. The difficult conversation with Tanya was forgotten for a bit after I'd come back to Lavender to find Sophie in the rope room. And for a couple of moments my mind had been empty of worries, too busy to think about scary possibilities and unwanted responsibilities. Now Sophie is next to me, naked and warm, still asleep with her hair spilling on my pillow. I sigh. When I have some time, I have to pick up my tools and finish this room. It's still a work in progress with space to tie and be tied, to play and relax in one's kink. But its magic is somewhat diminished by the fact I use it as a bedroom. After the night we had spent in the massive bed a few weeks ago, sleep wouldn't come to me unless I was here. The other bedroom is empty and dark, and I don't miss it. I glance to one of the corners. My clothes are in a pile there. For a disgraced gang leader, I don't have many. After Penelope took hold of Lavender and Thomas, she burned most of my belongings. The memory of her face, exhibiting the pleasure of her petty viciousness, passes through my mind, leaving a blazing trail of anger. I frown and grip the end of the blanket. A shower will calm me.
What are you thinking about?
Sophie's voice is hoarse, her eyes barely open. My wretched past. She smiles.
Always a good way to begin the day.
Sorry. I genuinely am. This is only the third time she has stayed the night. I don't want to ruin the moment with thoughts of useless things. I was going to grab a shower. Want to join me?
Very tempting.
Sophie says, narrowing her eyes. Half asleep, she looks more cute than sexual, so I pinch her soft cheek. She slaps my hand away.
I'm going to get some breakfast. You didn't feed me anything last night.
Right. When was the last time I ate? Definitely sometime before I went to Tanya's. There's a really nice bagel place a block away from here. Grab some money from the bar. Sophie rolls her eyes.
I can't believe you're stashing your money in the cash register.
Not all my money, only some if people need to help themselves.
Exactly.
She throws her hands in the air.
Where does your money come from anyway?
Savings, I say, volunteering nothing more. I don't want to admit that it's dirty money, earned by means that would make one raise an eyebrow. She says, as if acknowledging my silence as something else, as if I have told her more than I had. I cock my head to one side, evaluating her reaction. Most times, Sophie seems like a normal girl. She would joke about her everyday life stuff, TV series and food, kink and family. But occasionally her face would darken, often as a reaction to something I haven't said. She would look at me like she understands. And it is those moments when I feel far away from her, like she is a stranger I'm meeting for the first time. What was it like being the Brigand Wraith? Sophie looks up at the ceiling, as if a reel of her memories is projected there.
It was freeing. Like the world was at my fingertips.
What about the danger?
When I was 15, I thought I was living in an action movie. Nothing was serious. Everything was easy. It was a game.
She is quiet for a moment.
The perception of danger comes with loss. When my parents died, and when Chief told me to go and make a new life in this new unknown city, nothing felt safe anymore. And I don't mean because of gangs and violence. It was the danger of going hungry, of wasting our money, of somehow ruining my sister's future. So being the Brigand Wraith was awesome because it was easy and fun. Being just Sophie is a whole different thing. Maybe one day they will merge properly within me, and I will find the perfect blend of fun and responsibility.
It sounds like you miss it. I pull her close, nuzzling her neck, inhaling her scent. She chuckles.
And what was it like being the Lavender Phantom, savior of women and children?
I'm glad to be free of that title. I pause because I've never said how I felt about it out loud. I was only the face of it, the Lavender Phantom who was lurking around and taking the punishment from Penelope and Val if something was discovered. A physical entity to play the main role. But most of the work was done by Tanya, Matthias, and Luna. I was too powerless to really help. All I could do was encourage them.
Your trusty triumvirate.
Sophie moves around to face me without breaking our hug. She's soft in my arms, in contrast with the hard feeling that has settled once more in my heart. They like that name.
Even if the Lavender Phantom was a construct between all of you, why do you want to shed the name so badly? You were doing a lot of good around here.
But now I'm free, and they all expect me to take up the mantle of the leader and be amazing. But as you said, the perception of danger comes with loss. And I lost 6 years of my life in a basement. I sound like a child. I know I do, and I should be embarrassed. But Sophie's expression of understanding tells me I shouldn't stop talking.
Sounds like you've lost sight of who you are a bit. Maybe you embraced the role of a hostage fully so you could survive, so Thomas could be safe. And the Lavender Phantom is a part of that enforced identity. Maybe Damien the leader is gone now, but in time, a new you will come to the forefront. You just have to let him breathe.
She squeezes me tightly. And I thought I was the poetic one. I smile to relieve the tension in my face. A new me. How long will it take him to show up? My stomach rumbles, distracting us.
We'll figure it all out together, right?
Sophie moves my arms away from her and takes my hands in hers.
We'll find the girls, and we'll give our respective teens a fighting chance in life. It will be great.
I nod, my words for the morning spent. She hasn't said anything about Penelope or Lavender. Maybe she wants me to figure those out by myself. She gets dressed quickly while I take some painkillers and get ready for a shower. My stomach lets out a sad whine. The thought of bagels makes my mouth water. A strong English breakfast tea will go with them nicely. When Sophie's gone, I climb the stairs in my towel and I hum a cheery melody. The painkillers are kicking in, and the throbbing in my wound is easing, giving way to the familiar itch of healing. The burner phone in my basket of shower goods vibrates against a plastic bottle of shampoo. It's a message from Sophie. Police are out front banging on the main door. One old guy and a young woman. Cursed soundproofing. I hobble back unshowered and pull out some jeans and a hoodie from my wardrobe pile. By the time I go back up, their loud banging is traveling fine across the lounge and into the secret stairway. I creak the door open, leaning my whole body weight on it. If they have come to arrest me, I'm not going to go down easily.
Open up, boy, it's just us.
Carl says. He's wearing thick-rimmed sunglasses, which make him seem like an old, balding DJ. I look at Aisha, who is avoiding eye contact. Nothing in her body language betrays menace. She looks defeated. What's going on? I open the door. As they shuffle in, Aisha pulls out a couple of photos.
I think we found one of the girls.
She says.
Can you confirm?
A lump forms in my throat. No one brings pictures when a happy reunion can take place. The girl is dead. I look down. Layla. She used to work here before the Jesters took over and then stayed for the money.
So that's not who we were looking for?
Carl looks confused. He opens up a small notepad with scribbles.
The last names are Almasi, Labov.
You're looking for Yera, Layla's sister. They're twins. Layla went to look for Yera, I think. and found only trouble, it seems. I flick the picture over so they can see the close-up of Layla's inner arm, slashed from wrist to elbow, and then one time diagonally across. They have different tattoos. Layla has a star filled with black. Yira has an outline only. Aisha clicks her tongue.
So, we've achieved nothing?
I frown. Finding a dead body is hardly achieving something, I say through gritted teeth. Maybe try to find the other two alive? She flinches at my words.
Let's stay professional,
Carl says with a sigh.
Don't be offended, boy, but I have to ask you. Where were you yesterday between 9 and midnight?
I roll my eyes. I was here. Then I went to see one of my associates. How's that concussion you're nursing?
Doctors said it didn't look like I had one, actually.
Carl taps on the side of his head.
Hard noggin.
So you could have killed her. With your associate.
Aisha says.
You know so much about her, right? She might not even have a sister. You're probably throwing us off your scent.
I shake my head. It wasn't me. I have nothing to gain from her death. You are quick to hate me when you know who I am, but you didn't protest when I was fighting for your life 2 days ago. Where did you find her?
Near the pier,
Carl says. He doesn't seem to mind the animosity between Aisha and me. Maybe he has seen it all before and no longer cares.
Listen, we can't penetrate the jesters without putting some young cop at risk by asking him to infiltrate the place. We tried asking drugs to help us, but no one can spare anyone at the moment. We're willing to join hands with you for this case. As I understand it, you have personal reasons to want to get to Penelope. Let's pool our resources.
Aisha huffs, but Carl puts a hand up, silencing her.
Both of us will be delighted to work together to bring those girls back to safety.
How's this cooperation going to work? I hope for an answer that doesn't involve hauling me to prison after all is over.
Well, we'll work the case and you do your thing, clear your name, fight your enemies.
Carl explains, his voice nonchalant.
We'll ask for help if we need any. You can do the same.
Aisha opens her mouth, but Carl is faster.
Within reason. Nothing illegal, of course.
Of course, I echo.
Anything else you can tell us about this murder, then, before we pass it on to violent crimes?
Aisha snatches the pictures from my hands as if her question requires no answer. Or maybe she thinks anything I have to say is worthless. In any case, it will be fun to prove her wrong. If you were wondering who killed her, don't. It's the jesters. This is a gang killing. Did she bleed to death from her arm wounds?
You saw the pool of blood,
Carl says. So she did. I've seen this method before. It's unusual enough to be recognizable but easy to emulate. Despite this, I know it's Penelope's doing. We met at the Greenwich Pier in London for the first time. Then we went for a date on the Cutty Sark. She is taunting me. My hands ball into fists by my sides. I must look like a petulant boy, furious, but unable to express it. I don't care. It's definitely them, or someone who wants to be accepted by them. Whichever it is, that's your lead.
How are you so sure?
Aisha narrows her eyes again. The slashed arm is their signature move. That's how they tell other gangs it was them. It's a lie, and Carl knows it. The jesters are too new, infants on the streets. They haven't had the chance to create a signature move yet. I can see it in his eyes, glued to mine. But he says nothing, and I don't push it.
Okay.
Aisha relents, stuffing the pictures in her back pocket.
We'll be in touch.
She turns to leave. Carl, as before, lingers.
Things have gotten too ugly, boy,
He whispers.
Find someone to visit your dad. He would want to know your wife is using his modus operandi. He will help you, if not as your father, then as the former deck general.
You can tell him. My voice sounds surprisingly spiteful, even to me. I'm the one who put him in prison. How can I be the one to crawl back and ask for help? How can I ask anyone else to visit on my behalf?
What good will that do? The deck was the only gang in Chicago worth keeping on the streets. And if you had the balls to betray your old man, have the balls to continue his legacy properly.
Carl leaves, shaking his head. I didn't know my father had such passionate followers. I lock the door and look into Lavender. It is empty, and I'm alone in its rooms, built to house laughter and good times. I punch the wall, my anger dissipating through the foundations of the building. Maybe there is no other option. Maybe I have run out of steam. Maybe I'm truly a failure. I betrayed my family, married a monster, let her destroy my life and that of our sons. I'm a fugitive and a gang leader with a handful of followers. If I were playing poker with the hand I'd been dealt in life, I would have folded by now. But there's too much at stake to give up now. People's lives and livelihoods are in my hands, and one has already slipped through my fingers. Layla. She was a joyous person, always had a good story to tell Thomas, and a smile to share with everyone. Working under Valerie crushed her spirit, and now Penelope robbed her of her life. Yera, if she knows, is probably inconsolable. I don't want to imagine the pain of losing a twin. An idea cuts through the waves of anxiety. Maybe my father will be able to help us indeed. I pull out my phone and scroll to the bottom of the short contact list. I haven't dialed this number since the heist in Lavender. The call goes straight to voicemail. Penelope's thugs killed Layla. I need your help again. Can you give me a call as soon as you hear this? My time runs out, and the call disconnects. I go downstairs, grab my towel, and head for the showers. If the police can't plant anyone in Penelope's gang, maybe we can.
This was The Brigand Children, Book 2 of the Club Lavender Duet by Lainey Delaroque. To listen to the next 5 chapters, please navigate to the next video. All parts of this audiobook are available in the playlist The Brigand Children on this YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. Like and comment to help get this book in front of more readers, and subscribe to the channel to avoid missing out. See you in the next part.